we have some surprising changes for the Adepta Sororitas in the June 2025 balance patch. They hit things I didn't think they would, but in a good way, if you can be hit in a good way. I mean, if you're into the theme is to fix units that were rarely taken and mostly around miracle dice. The army rule we have fewer miracle dice of from the December balance patch. Not all of that has changed. We still have the you only get 1 miracle dice per battle round, not per player turn, but otherwise we're generating miracle dice mostly the same as we were in the Codex. March balance patch undid a lot of the December balance patch changes. Around miracle dice, we have 1 improved detachment, but it is not the Ringers of Flame. That remains very, very nerfed. Still popular, still playable, but not like it was on Codex launch. None of the other nerfs have been undone. No, instead we have different bonuses. But it's nice to see when we face penalty after penalty for most of the year that there is a general overall, this is all good stuff. All of it. We have a better Champions of Faith, the detachment that came out in December. The Champions of Faith no longer requires you to discard miracle dice to use the detachment. This was the biggest complaint at the time of release because it coincided with a loss of lots of miracle dice in the December 2024 balance patch. Many people saw that and just have not touched it. It remains low in popularity in the community that answers my polls and is subscribed to the channel to stand up and be counted. About as many people play the Champions of Faith as they play the Penitent Host, and the Champions of Faith is way more general in the units it supports. The Penitent Host is the Penitent units that you need lots of. It's going to skew towards the people who have a very large collection or a very specific collection. Not requiring miracle dice anymore really opens up the Champions of Faith detachment. You can pick more Battle Sister squads to get the bonus because why not? Extra movement, extra hit chance. It gives a Repentia squad the bonus to make them just a little bit faster. If you're going to be taking Battleshock tests, pick a unit to be righteous to make it more likely they will pass their Battleshock test. And it's much easier to use the stratagems. You don't have to discard miracle dice in preparation for having a unit that you know you're going to spend command points on so that you can either use the stratagems or get a better version of the stratagem. Shoot and charge after falling back. Brilliant. Extra strength and AP in combat. Great. Does that feel more Bloody Rose to you now? No miracle dice tax really opens up this detachment. I found it to be a pretty okay detachment already. Now I definitely recommend giving it a go, especially if you've been playing Hallowed Martyrs the whole time, whether Index and then Codex, especially since December. Try the Champions of Faith. I used 2 Paragon Warsuit units in this detachment, and from comments, more people will consider doing that. And the points are down on the Paragon Warsuits. To quote Captain Scarlet, SIG. Sisters in Green. That's what it stands for now. All green changes. We like to see no red and only green color changes. Paragon Warsuits are down by 10 points for the 3. That's a little better. With other units factored in, that could add up to another enhancement or Dialogus. Val did not go up in points. I would have been fine with another 10 points off the Warsuits and 10 points more on Val to really encourage us to take the Paragon Warsuits by themselves. As it stands, maybe you will take a second Paragon Warsuit unit if you take a first one. The Castigator and the Immolator are down by 10 points, but not the Exorcist. Not my beloved Exorcist, which needed it the most. Games Workshop continues to hate indirect fire, the feature that they put in the game. I am happy with the points drop on the other tanks, good for them. Happy tears from the Exorcist, or happy missiles, but supporting missiles, not yay, I'm actually better. I don't think points drops in these tanks will really mean anything substantial, but take more Immolators. Splitting units into 2 units of 5 doubles your miracle dice on death, and it gives you more units to complete missions and hold objectives. There were some odd things about this document. The Sanctifiers are on the document. The points disappeared from their unit card for a few weeks, which was strange. I guess it was getting rid of it there on the unit card in preparation for putting it on the Munitorum Field Manual. The Repentia are down 10 points, except they're not. Their points are the same as the last balance patch. It may have been a mistake to put it in green. I can't see it meant to have been 75 points for 5 and 160 points for 10. That's unlikely because 75 times 2 is not 160. It was probably not meant to be coloured in green and was left in green from the previous balance patch. They do need a bit more of a points drop, but we haven't got it this time. Unless Games Workshop's going to update this document with a, oh yeah, that was meant to be -5, -10. I don't think so though. I think it's just wrong coloured. Their grey and their green do look very similar. Seraphim are down by 1 point per model. Wonderful. Keep going. Keep pushing that Army of Faith life. I do love my Seraphim and love it when they're even cheaper. And to support that Army of Faith life, Junith Arutia is 10 points cheaper. She is a staple leader in the Army of Faith because you can get more command points, which can generate more miracle dice because there are stratagems in that detachment that generate miracle dice. And the Triumph is down 15 points. Oh, saints be praised. I don't think that is enough to cover wanting to include it again, but with all the other points drops, if you are overall saving about 50 points, then the Triumph is good. It makes my Penitent Host list happier. There's no points drop on the Imagifier. They also wanted a points drop to better compete with the Hospitaller, but they didn't get a points drop. And there is nothing for the Dogmata. No points change, no rules change. They remain the character you don't consider taking. The points for Retributors were 105 points in April 2024, and that was fine. But we have a points drop of 10 points from 125 to 115 points. They now cost the same points as Dominions. I will likely continue to prefer Dominions. And they have an improved rule. Sort of improved. Well, improved generally from what it was before. It isn't reroll wound rolls of 1 for your range attacks and full reroll wounds against enemies that destroyed one of your units, as in they're getting retribution. Now it is reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1 by default. Good to avoid misses when hitting on a 4+. The bonus, if you're attacking a unit that destroyed one of your sister's units, is +1 to hit and +1 to wound instead. Okay, I prefer +1 to wound over the previous reroll wound rolls, especially when we're often wounding on a 5. Even if you had a better wound chance, like you were wounding on a 3. Now you're wounding on a 2. That is still good. Now melter weapons have a greater chance to destroy enemy tanks without using miracle dice. +1 to hit isn't redundant when I know we have the heavy keyword, which also gives you +1 to hit if you remain stationary. They can't stack, but if you're shooting an enemy that has destroyed one of your units, you don't have to stay still to get the +1 to hit. Okay, I am more willing to consider this unit. Not with heavy flamers though. The bonuses to hit do nothing. To feel the improvement in this unit, you will want heavy bolters or really multi-melters. We don't have many weapons that can hurt tanks, but 8 melter shots with +1 to wound on condition that tank killed one of your sister units, that is better than the Paragon Warsuits, except for Val's rerolls. The Retributors get reroll wound rolls of 1 or the +1 to wound. It's odd then that the heavy weapons prefer the reroll hit rolls of 1 when they can remain stationary to get the +1 to hit, but +1 to hit automatically is the alternative. And you know, if you have used Retributors, they move to get line of sight or disembark from transport or arrive from strategic reserves. They're rarely ever stationary. And if they were, they're probably going to get shot and die. The Zephyrim have had a rule improvement as well. No points change for them, but they no longer spend miracle dice to use their abilities. You get sustained hits 1 or lethal hits. That's all the time you're in melee. Now, if you make a charge roll, you don't have to discard a miracle dice to get both. If the Zephyrim charge, you have sustained hits 1 and lethal hits. There's a little video explaining the combination of the two and how that works. There is a second bonus. Embodied Prophecy used to apply to power weapons equipped by models in the unit, so that was the Zephyrim, the Gemini of Celestine, and the Jump Cannoness if you had the power weapon equipped. It is now changed to melee weapons, so Celestine's Special Blade, the Cannoness's Halberd or Eviscerator can get that bonus as well. Now you have more reason to have a Jump Pack Cannoness with the Zephyrim. This is a good thing. Maybe the Zephyrim will see more play. I am not likely to use more Zephyrim because my Seraphim got cheaper and I'll just take more Seraphim. Seraphim and Zephyrim are equal points now. There were many rumours circulating about this balance patch. Maybe the rumours are for next time. One of the rumours was about Overwatch, which has already changed loads since the start of the edition. It changed so that you need line of sight. It was changed so you can't use Overwatch at the end of the charge phase, so people could maybe fire pistols in engagement range. Arguably, you never could. There was a rumour that they were going to remove rerolls to hit with Overwatch, which would have messed up Morvenn Vahl in the Paragon Warsuits. Thankfully, this hasn't happened, so we can still Overwatch really well with Morvenn Vahl, the Paragon Warsuits, and all of their guns. No change to Overwatch, which is good. There was no new Battle Sisters detachment. I mean, this is why we don't follow rumours, but perhaps it's being written for next time? And in September we'll get another detachment? But with the Champions of Faith rework, it feels like we have a new detachment. We don't, but it feels like we do. And the command point change, the idea that you can only use an ability that reduces the cost of command points, or one that gives you a command point, but only if you pass a leadership test. That rumour, I don't know where Proxy Hammer got that from. I'm blaming him. That's what we're doing. It doesn't matter that I spread the rumour. No, it has to be the person I heard the rumour from in the first place. It's their fault. This is how the internet works. Thankfully, nothing bad has happened to Junith, or the Canonesses. Only good things happened to Junith. She is 10 points cheaper. The penalties on that were targeted entirely towards Manius Calgar, Guilliman, and the Hive Tyrant and units like that. So Manius Calgar has to be the Warlord before you can get the extra command point. Guilliman's ability is once per battle round, not per turn. Wow, rumours, what are they like? So we're okay. We can continue as we were. In fact, overall, the Adepta Sororitas has gotten better. Happiness and praise for all. I will be back soon with more information on the Genestealer cult. Oh, we have some tasty little changes for the Genestealer cult as well. Have a great day of 40k.